Admittedly, I can be so sensitive to stumbling over words that it's like it's funny to rewatch. Kind of. It's also like, oh Jesus, let yourself be a bit, because I'll have, and with the vlog especially, like when we're filming vlog clips, especially because we're pretty baked most of the time, I'm like filming and I'll have this process going on, assumptions about how I'm expressing something or saying something or what's going on in the video, like as it's being filmed, and then I'll rewatch it and it's totally different. And this spot where I assume that, you know, I stumbled a bunch was actually like a totally fine thing. And that was the thing that hit me for social media. Like right before I started posting was like, I had a very strong narrative, actually not too different, not too different than I feel these days when I think about myself, this sense of like, not confident, not a good speaker, can't articulate things well, not a good conversationalist. And that was like my narrative for a lot of my life, like certainties through my teenage years for sure. And it hit me once after my boss made my whole team record a client call. And I was nervous to do it. I was worried. I was like, oh, this is going to be terrible. I watched it back, totally fine. Everything I assumed about my responses, explanations, there was actually totally fine flow. And that like cut it for me in a sense, enough to then, you know, start putting myself out there more. But it can be, I was saying something before that. I don't really remember exactly.
Man, you've given me such a fucking great view of it though. Like it's so funny because inside our awareness, inside our consciousness, the entirety of our experience, it's like we're watching it on a fucking IMAX, like the world's most giant IMAX. In our head, every little flaw, every little thing, every little shade, every little thing, what we would judge as an imperfection is just right in our fucking face. You know, in the same way as if you were to take someone's face and stretch it out to be the size of an IMAX screen, right? You would start noticing, oh, wow, that person's got freckles. You know, I'd never seen that before. Right. So we see it like that in our awareness, no matter what it is we're thinking, perceiving, worried about, so on and so forth. But everybody else just sees it as if they were looking at a movie strip. Like they're only seeing the tiny little version. They're only seeing where you can't notice any of those things because the picture's not big enough.
Right.
And they're so busy with their own shit that's limiting the size of the picture that they can see as well.
And so those insecurities that you feel, like they only feel big to you. And if anyone else has any sort of insecurity whatsoever, like they're seeing their IMAX screen